A member of the board, and I'm going to read the announcements this morning. Yay! The main thing to know is that at 12:15 today, we have our mid-year congregational meeting. This is an important meeting, a big meeting. Please, everybody stay and come to the mid-year congregational meeting at 12:15. There'll be a lot of important things discussed and an opportunity for people to speak up. On January 20th, the church offices will be closed in honor of MLK Junior Day, so be aware that the office is closed on January 20th. On January 25th at 1 p.m., the UUCA Book Club is having a meeting. And on January 31st at 7:30, the final Friday jazz concert will be here in this sanctuary. If you haven't been coming to that, you've been missing. I think I've gone to every one or almost. Every time I'm here, I think whoever isn't here is missing something. So don't miss the final Friday jazz concert featuring Ed Fuqua. If it's like all the rest, it will be a wonderful time. So I hope to see you there. Those are the announcements.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. We are here to create a beloved community, to act together with compassion and reason and respect, excuse me, and empowering us to promote a just society. My name is Chris Maurer, and I answer to she, her pronouns. And today I am co-creating this service with Rev Nic, with our choir and the music director, Joe Patchen, and all the talented folks who work on our tech deck. We couldn't do without them. And all of you here to join us in this worship. In honor of this sacred moment, we ask that you please silence all of your mobile devices. And if you're a first-time visitor, please stop by our greeters table following the service and get to know Fern Smith. She is our membership coordinator, and she would love to chat with you and get to know you better. The blue card in the seat in front of you is a good guide for guiding that conversation. You are also more than welcome to please join us in our community room to meet with other people and have coffee and some snacks. We will know you by the different colors on your name tag if you're new here. A green one says, yes, come and join me, talk to me, we'd like to get to know you better. And a red one means I need a little more time to get to know people, and so just say hi to me and we will get to know each other later on. And for those of you on Zoom, please remain on the line and get to talk to other people after the service. So whether you're here in person or on Zoom, we welcome you all and are glad that you are here to join us.
Love makes a bridge that winds may shake, yet not destroy. Love carries faith through life and death to endless joy. When hope awaits at every turn, I know that we will go on.
Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 325, Love Makes a Bridge.
Listen.
Until 2006, when Ritz bolted out the apartment door, down the stairs, and never returned.
We spent months, looking all around, talking to the shelters, and anything we could think of, we tried.
When did you finally give up?
I don't know that you ever really give up.
In fact, she still has his lost pet poster.
Let's go ahead and sing our kids out to continue their faith formation.
As you
love that bustle of kids as they go and depart us just momentarily. It's kind of a meditation for me almost to have that, like that murmur of youth that I know will guide us into the next generation. I have hope because of our cool kids. And hope that I think was really present yesterday at the People's March, as was mentioned earlier. And most of the people who led that group are on the younger side of things, and the kids are okay. The kids are all right. Now is a time for prayer and meditation, a moment in which we intentionally connect with our bodies, our souls, and the people around us, the ground underneath us. And we do so in many ways, whatever works for you. You might really feel the ground beneath your feet. You might clasp your hands. You might close your eyes. Some people like to have a tall back, and some people like to relax into the chair. Whatever helps you feel most connected to your body in this moment. And please join me now in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, that which is most ultimate, that which is most intimate, that mystery beyond all understanding that still connects us all deeply. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this moment of community and togetherness. Thank you for the space and the time to connect with each other, to connect with you, to connect with all that is divine in this moment. There, of course, is so much that weighs on our hearts, both in our own personal lives, but also around the world. Just tomorrow will mark the beginning of what I'm sure will be a tumultuous time. There are people who are suffering here in this country, who are unsheltered, who are afraid of what the change in government might mean for their access to health care, especially for our trans siblings. The folks in the Middle East, particularly in Gaza and in Israel, although there is a ceasefire, it feels like it's not on steady ground just yet. There is work to do. Within, among, and beyond, there is work to do to lead with love, to center love, to live in a sense of mutual aid and interdependence. And I believe wholeheartedly that we can do that. We can do that. We can model that for each other and for the world. And that starts first within our own hearts, our own souls, our own spirit. And so I invite us now to enter into a moment of silence. Enter into a moment of silence so that we can feel deeply this moment, this space, your people. Blessed be and amen. Before we get to our invitation to generosity, I have to say, just a reminder that these moments of prayer and meditation are not for us to escape life, but to move deeper into it. And so anytime there are little noises that happen around us, noises from our youth, noises from folks, that's something to cherish and to celebrate, to move into deeply. So I'm so grateful for the sound of life.
The upcoming years are going to be difficult for many of us. There will be changes that will bring challenges. But this church and this beloved community will help us to deal with those challenges. Here we can turn to each other for support and understanding, a place of solace and solidarity. Here we work together promoting love, peace, and justice. And to accomplish this, we need everyone's time, talent, and financial support, as you are willing and able. Please give as you can by cash, check, or text to give using the information that will appear on the screen. Will the ushers please come forward?
I started seminary in 2017 along with the biggest incoming class ever at Meadville Lombard Theological School. We started seminary in 2017, almost exactly 9 months after our incoming president was inaugurated the first time. The explanation for our record cohort size was a spirit of loving resistance to a clear and present danger to our deepest held values and our lives. A spirit of loving resistance to which many of us were called as a ministry. We named this influx the Trump bump. That is the only time I'll be using his name today. The shock of him winning the most powerful job in the world a second time seems far heavier than it did 8 years ago, with potentially much larger ramifications. The initial response to this election was, and still kind of is, understandably a collective, almost subdued grief, instead of an immediate swell of resistance, like we saw with the inaugural Women's March in 2017 that famously dwarfed the size of his inauguration crowd. In comparison, though, to a beleaguered 45, the real threat and fear of how an emboldened 47 will impact the rise of fascism is profound. The confirmation hearings for his cabinet nominees would be laughable if they weren't so critical to everyone's safety and security. The consolidation of media empires by bootlicking wannabe fascists is staggering. Oligarch wannabe alpha males who are simultaneously and irresponsibly rolling back important equity and fact-checking initiatives on their heavily influential tech hubs. The potential damage to public health, the kind of rollback which always impacts targeted folks already on the margins the most, is nightmarish. Access to healthcare of any kind for trans folks is teetering. The callous mass deportation of our immigrant neighbors is imminent, with raids being planned in Chicago as soon as next week. So much evidence points to the next 4 years and beyond as a horrid moment in history. And after a long weekend of preemptive activism, with local allies who successfully tapped into a renewed national movement of love, allies in love who shared stories of hope and resilience that may just get us through. After this weekend, my faith is renewed that the arc of the universe, though long, does indeed bend toward justice, will bend toward justice. The spirit of loving resistance, which swept me toward progressive ministry 8 years ago, alongside so many passionately compassionate love warriors, is starting to reappear, reignite. I hope you feel it. Alternative social media apps like Blue Sky are emerging as a robust alternative to those owned by the oligarchs. After creating a Blue Sky account for myself, I'm excited to see how many people there are getting geared up for the hard work through strategic alliances, powerful and compelling art and satire, and newly developing independent news sources like The Contrarian. I highly recommend you look that up, who will tell the truth. Truth tellers still exist. Once again, we, both here in this space and around us in this city, the state, this country, we build a bridge upon love that will get us through our collective journey. A collective journey which promises to be filled with hardship and grief and even suffering, yet also with loving acts of kindness and a fair amount of good trouble grounded in good faith. Inspired by the storytelling at the heart of yesterday's activistivities, that's a new word I just came up with, activistivities, I had an idea for today. Visionary folks have long been able to imagine a future better than the present, creating stories about how things could be. Wonderfully, many of those prophetic visions have come true. were willed true. Stories written with love became the bridge to get us there. This type of story is called speculative fiction, and this is perhaps my favorite literary genre. So again, inspired by yesterday, and since the theme this month here at UUCA is living love through the practice of story, I thought that we together would give speculative fiction a try today, using the 6-word story format I suggested as a spiritual practice for the month. Now, my earlier suggestion specifically invited you to write a story about each season of your life already lived, a way to thoughtfully look back. The difference for today is we're going to look forward. We're going to tell stories about the future we want to see, a future of our dreams, not just for ourselves, but for the country and the world. So, using the paper each of you received as you came in today, and a writing tool from the back of a seat near you, we're going to take a moment to write some 6-word stories about beloved community, what that might look like in the future. Now, there are some helpful hints for how to do it on the back of your paper if you need it. So you got 2 papers as you came in, an order of service and one that has one blank side and one with instructions on how to do a short, a 6-word story. For those on Zoom, Nat is sharing a link for that guidance in the chat. I hope you'll find some paper to do this too. And I appreciate that somebody's helping out, passing the papers out for those who haven't gotten it yet. As those are passed out, and as you kind of look over the guidelines, if you have them in front of you, here's one I wrote that is an example of what you might do. Love prevails, justice rings bright, clear. I'm going to give you a second to look those over. Now, if you don't want to write anything, feel free to use this time for additional quiet contemplation and meditation. And then in a few minutes, after this creative and reflective moment, folks will have a chance to share one of their stories here from the pulpit. It'll be a litany of loving imagination. So it's your turn to write. I'll invite willing folks to share their stories in about 3 minutes. See you in a bit. Again, we're writing 6-word stories about the future you want to see. Don't worry about making it perfect, because the future won't be perfect. But there might be moments. Write about one of those. Thank you, Joseph. Now invite folks to form a line here beside me if they'd like to share their story. I do encourage you and hope that you can be bold for us.
Hi, I'm Nicole, she, her. Inauguration, yet our community grows stronger.
Chris Garcia, how paradise comes to the blind.
Look, love is here, there, everywhere.
Hand in hand, heart in heart.
Wisdom swells and wins out. Yay!
We go around government and build universal health care.
Amen.
Dreadful 4 years, don't give up.
Kindness abounds, earth sighs in relief.
Now keep in mind, this is 4 years from now. I'm 50, people resisted, love won.
We, a phoenix rising from ashes.
Let's see. Oh man, what is that first word? Watching. Yeah. Watching realization of stupid. Gather in peace and hope and understanding more.
Jane Yarsowich, curious, learn, joy to share everywhere.
Barbara Bowen, no darkness is complete or forever.
Larry Comp, may my silence shout from high.
Nic Filzen, kids becoming who they really are.
Birds breathe, sun shines, children laugh.
Chris Drescher, make a way to solid ground.
Betty Borg, we cannot give up, marshal on.
Anne Sutherland, keep your values no matter what. Country swings back to love, we the people.
It came to pass, not stay.
Ariana C., fruiting trees blossom in the spring.
Love creates courage to build anew.
Courage indeed. Thank you, everyone. For those brave enough to share, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Most good stories include at least a little bit of courage, whether by the author or a pivotal character. Now, these are all stories we wrote as individuals, and they were all great. Each contain tremendous power, which by their very existence, stories by their very existence have already changed the world. You have already changed the world. But if these individual stories can change the world, imagine the power of a story that we co-wrote and co-write together. A grand story of justice and liberation and beloved community, a journey to which may be muddy and rough. It will be hard, we know. Yet by our shared vision and passion and combined energies, we become the bridge of love that gets us there, or at least a little bit closer. And even if it doesn't, we will have lived our story together. May we be so blessed. Amen.
Would you rise and bow to your spirit for our closing hymn, number 1015, I Know I Can.
Please remain risen in body or spirit as I share some closing words. Yes, indeed, the next 4 years are going to get rough, y'all. And things likely won't get better right away after. A long storm is indeed on the horizon. Yet I know that we will go on. As the great civil rights hymn declares, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.